Getting into their main wall. Oh, fuck. Extra protection. Firewall offline. Attack. Launch sequence. Typing in. I did it. I'm here. What's inside? Let's go. That was a lot. My fingers feel like they're numb from all the hacking. I don't know what the reward was, though. It told me I'd be receiving a reward within, 2 to 7 business. What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? A new folder. You've made it. The Iceberg. No! Situations. This is a known Ernest O'Connor meme that surrounds him coming up with different situations or scenarios that involve people around him, people in his life, and having events occur to them such as deaths, serious injuries, and more morbid, twisted things that I can't even mention here. Post Hominid Ernie. This is a period of time, past when Ernie was playing Hollow Knight. He was really obsessed with that game. It really took over a large majority of his life. And we're now past these times. We're kind of in uncertain grounds. We're not really sure what he's going to do next, where he's headed, where he's going. We don't really know what to do with him. Junior. Junior is known to be Ernest O'Connor's father, Ernest O'Connor II. And he's just a man that people fear. People are not sure what he's capable of. Being Ernie's father, we don't know what kind of power he wields and holds. I love my life. I love my life is in reference to one of Ernie's most famous catchphrases surrounding him celebrating life for all it is worth. Meme rating. Meme rating is when Ernie forces the people around him to rate these memes on a numeric scale between 1 and 10, trying to see where people are, if they're laughing or smiling at his memes. Because Ernie's a sociopath, this is where he learns his emotions from. Obedience/dominance check. An obedience/dominance check is when Ernie is using his power against people to see if they will obey him or if they will dominate him. He's really just trying to test the waters of how much he can control the people around him. Ernie is a grape. Ernie is a grape is Ernie or BigLBigl's Instagram page. His bio on it says he/him/it. 5'7", proud Cabelloist, philosopher, writer, musician, politician, and father. Just your average guy. Join our brotherhood, Cabelloism.com. Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is a 2017 action-adventure game developed and published by Team Cherry. This game somehow appealed to Ernie's liking and he latched onto it, making it his life. Sometimes drawing the characters, sometimes talking about them in Discord calls, surrounding people with this culture. James O'Connor. James O'Connor is Ernie's big brother who no one has ever seen. He's mentioned in a few Instagram story posts, and Ernie has talked about him quite frequently, but no one has ever seen a picture of him. No one's ever contacted him. No one knows who he is. I don't want to die. This connects with Ernie's love of his life. Him always saying, I love my life. He just doesn't want to die. I think he wants immortality. He wants to live in the fountain of youth. He wants to continue to exist forever and on to torture those who will always exist. Friends in high places. This phrase is usually followed with the pointing up gesture. Ernie is talking about people he knows in heaven, presumably those he's either killed or witnessed be murdered. Huge Balls 360p Atlanta. Huge Balls 360p Atlanta is another Instagram account owned by Ernie, previously owned by a man named Lincoln or Bullet Speed. It is a meme account that frequently posts post-ironic memes, some of them involving Islamic themes and rappers who are fresh out of Georgia. 5'7". This is Ernie's confirmed height. People have seen him in person. They can clearly see over him. We can presume that he is 5'7" because of his surroundings. When we don't allow him to stand on a chair, we can easily look over him. Bronson David Page. This is one of Ernie's lifelong enemies. He had a war with him. He was going to try and meet up with him, fight him. brawl it out, duke it out, speak with your fists, you know. But it turns out they actually played a game of basketball, and they've become, I wouldn't say friends, but they will no longer kill each other on sight. Craft Mine. Craft Mine is an anagram for Minecraft, a game that Ernie is kind of bipolar about. Sometimes he loves it, sometimes he hates it. Sometimes he wants to use nuke mods to reenact what he would do in real life if he had this kind of sort of power. But sometimes he just hates it with a passion. Hombre. Hombre is a Spanish slang term to mean man. It's kind of a friendly gesture to call someone your hombre. And Ernie has turned it into his own form of slang in his own language, where he will walk up to people and say, hombre. Car brands. One of Ernie's newest habits in the post-Hollow Knight times is to point at any car he sees on the street and try to name its brand, try to look at its logo and guess what brand it is. I think it's the first step in the next era of Ernie. Factorio. Factorio is a game about building and creating automated factories to produce items of increasing complexity within an infinite 2D world. Ernie uses this plane, this space of existence, in order to reenact what he would do if he was an industrial leader. This is kind of his own North Korea experiment. Hollow Knight Ernie. This is the era when Ernie found Hollow Knight. He was really deep into it. He was drawing characters. He was, making these references to these characters, really getting deep in the lore and the story of what Hollow Knight is. Toby Dutton. Toby Dutton is a frequent visitor in Ernie's life. Toby Dutton once told Ernie to wear a flannel to his job interview. Clearly bad advice, yet Ernie still took the advice and they told him to take the flannel off. Bitches. We are quite unsure of the origins of this phrase. Ernie's kind of just saying bitches, but with a really almost Valley Girl-like accent. The Hominid Incident. This incident occurred during a Discord call where Ernie was taking a side profile picture of his face. You could clearly see that the skull was malformed, probably several evolutions old, which dictates that Ernie is not who he says he is. He is several thousands of years old before evolution has even started occurring. Bald Ernie. This was another era in Ernie's life where instead of having his normal long hair that everyone, expects to see on him, he was shaved bald. It brought out different animalistic behaviors in Ernie that people had not seen before. Ironic LOL seriously hat. This hat has been seen several times, but most recently at the fair with Ernie's friends. He wore this hat and was really talking about how he was hoping that people would see it as ironic. He didn't want people to think that it was unironic in any sort of fashion. God files. The files on Ernie's computer are a scary place. Visiting them is something I would not recommend. Within God files were several truly disturbing things, such as, and along with that was also some deeply disturbing stuff. Bologna and cheese. This was one of Ernie's catchphrases near the Bald Ernie era. We aren't quite sure what its meanings truly are. A bologna and cheese sandwich is quite a common sandwich, so he could be calling people commoners or peasants and thinking that he is above them. Gremlin Ernie. This was another era in Ernie's life that was between the Bald Ernie and the Hollow Knight Ernie era, where he was kind of just evolving, morphing. He wasn't seen in sunlight very often, and feeding him after dark led to grave consequences. Brody Belanger situation. Brody Belanger is someone that Ernie admires for his musical strength. Brody Belanger frequently talks about playing the drums, and Ernie wants to recruit him into this band, feeding the chickens. After some research, we have found that this involves an incident where Ernie and his friends were in another neighbor's backyard, Kyle LaDuke being one of those people, and he threw a piece of granola into the chicken's coop. Which he later then Googled and saw that granola kills chickens. We are unsure of the health of the chickens at this time. Wallet from Japan incident. The wallet from Japan incident involved Ernie pulling out this wallet that had Japanese influence on it, could be Takashi Murakami influenced, and he was telling people that it was from Japan. His friend Caitlin went to Japan and bought him this wallet. They later went to a local store and found this same wallet on the racks. It was just an example of Ernie's pathological lying. I'm not afraid of you. When Ernie says this phrase, he's just showing his dominance over others, that he's been here time and time again, and that he cannot be stopped. Admin Friday. Admin Friday is something that takes place on the Ernie is a Grape Instagram page, where he will post stories talking about this Admin Friday event. We're not sure quite what it means, but here are some examples. bulgespack.zip. After some research, we were unable to find any whereabouts or information on this. My father is a gnome. This is a reference to the Ernie is a Grape Instagram page, where Ernie would record his father in an attempt to expose him for his evil doings. Here are some clips.
What happened?
Go upstairs, Aaron.
Why don't you show
to your room.
What
Go to your room.
do?
Why don't you talk?
Out to the ball game.
Is it my turn to talk? This quote is from two separate occasions. One being Ernie's little brother John trying to get a word in when Ernie and his friends were talking. He said, "Is it my turn to talk?" and then asserted dominance over Ernie, which Ernie did not take kindly to. The second occasion of this occurring is Discord member Zaxify was in a call with some people who were all talking over him every time he tried to mutter something out of his mouth, and he said, "Is it my turn to talk?" People kind of looked at him and laughed. They didn't respect this. It was just another case of Ernie's cutthroat mindset. Why would you say that about me? This really shows where Ernie's deeper insecurities and some of his weaknesses show. When people say certain things about him, he will question why would they say that about him. This shows that he has at least something left of a heart, but we do not know where he keeps that heart. GenixTheDragon. This is Ernie's PlayStation name and some of his other usernames on other gaming websites. We are unsure of its origins or where he came up with this name. Has drank urine on 3 separate occasions. As we will see later, deeper down on the iceberg, Ernie has a collection of piss bottles, which he sometimes will accidentally drink out of. There's been 3 occasions of this, and possibly more, that we are unsure of. Lost Instagram posts, deleted early 2020. As these are labeled lost, we do not have any pictures, we don't have any knowledge on them. If you do have any knowledge, please send them into the Thousand Pigeons YouTube channel. Pre-2016 Ernie. This is the earliest documented era of Ernie's life, where not many know of. There's only one man, Lincoln W., but he has not come forward with any information. Unreleased BigL videos. On the BigL channel, there's a video titled Where I've Been, where he showcases some of the cutting room floor clips of the BigL channel, what he's recorded, but I presume this is talking about more unreleased videos, some concepts that were too dark to make it out of the cave that is Ernie's mind. Rayshawn Smooch Incident. This incident took place in the 2019 fair in Ernie's hometown. Lincoln's cousin Rayshawn, also known as Rayshawns, was on the Ferris wheel with him, and they had a smooch. We are told that Ernie asked for consent and was granted consent before the kiss. Garbanzo beans. According to first-hand witnesses, this is a 2016 Ernie quote. He would say it in 6th grade math class, and people aren't really sure where he got it from. He was talking about some kind of beans. It could be also relating to a deeper topic with Junior, his father. Piss bottle collection. As mentioned previously, Ernie had an extensive collection of bottles that he peed in. We're not sure why he kept this, possibly for drinking, as he did drink urine on 3 separate occasions. LaDuke Fork Incident. This incident involved when Ernie's friends were at his house and they barricaded himself in his room in an attempt to break into the deeper files of his computer. Ernie broke through the barricade and made it into the room. He picked up a fork that was lying on his desk and attempted to attack LaDuke with it. This is all that is known about that incident. White's Beach Spider Crawl Incident. This incident involves when Ernie was buried in White's Beach. There was a spider on the sand and his friend Simon failed to save him from that spider. It crawled near his head and he broke out of the sand instantly. GenixTheDragon PS Call roleplay. We were unable to find any information on what this means. We're not sure if it's a joke entry or something that really needs to be deeply investigated. Second YouTube account. Only a select number of Ernie's friends know about his second YouTube account that is quite popular, but the contents of it cannot be disclosed. Do not contact me further about this one. XD folder. I believe only very few people know about the XD folder on Ernie's computer, and I would say that is a good thing. Once again, we cannot discuss the contents of this. Mangoes. On the BigL Iceberg, mangoes were really an outlier. We're not sure if it's his favorite type of food. We're not sure if it's one of his catchphrases. We're not really sure what it is. ByGamersforgamers. This was a hashtag that Ernie used on one of his TikTok accounts. We're not quite sure which one. We're trying to investigate it right now. Hopefully we'll have footage by the time we are editing. 4 TikTok accounts. As of recording, we can only find 3 official BigL TikTok accounts, with one we are not quite sure of. Dash Baby. Dash Baby is something that Ernie signs on the Huge Balls 360p Instagram account. It was his way of making their followers think that he was a woman posting this content, another form of manipulation in Ernie's life. Use of the F slur, 8/14/2021. This was a very recent occurrence, and I can only think that the F slur is referring to fudge. I imagine that Ernie was in the car with his dad, similar to the scene in A Christmas Story when Ralphie drops the lug nut used to attach the wheel to the car, causing him to say the F word, but narration says that he says fudge. Ernie is unironically a pathological liar. This one is most likely true. Ernie will sometimes tell these tall tales that people don't believe, but he forces them to believe it. This is something that he doesn't even know is happening, yet he still lies for no reason. XXXX Instagram highlights. These series of stories are on Ernie's Instagram account for all to see. They show several scary sights of Ernie's mind. The first picture tells a story about a boy who was pushed into a well by girls who made fun of him. He was found drowned in toilet water, and they say that you must share this story with 5 people if you want to survive. The next 2 videos surround Ernie talking about being another spike on your bracelet. It seems to be some kind of deeper message with him. The 4th story gives us insight to a future. Ernie's possibly a time traveler, telling us about how in the future you can either choose to work at Amazon or SpaceX, or you have to mine neoplasma for cars. It's a sad story, but one that could potentially become true in the future. Unironic lol seriously hat. This leads back to the ironic wearing of the lol seriously hat, and it now says that Ernie's actually wearing it unironically. He thinks it's a funny hat and he wants people to laugh with him, not at him. He uses the ironic wearing of it as a shield so people are unaware of his unironic wearing. Neo Piss Bottle Collection. The original Piss Bottle Collection presumably ended long ago, but this entry on the Iceberg says that there is a new one starting, and we're not quite sure why. What is leading him emotionally to do this again? Nothing Here Instagram highlights. The Nothing Here Instagram highlight shows Ernie wearing one of his Halloween costumes in which he wore a sheet and wrote right eye under the right eye and left eye under the left eye. He also carried an American flag and wore a gray wig with a hat. This possibly could be a dead Confederate soldier who died in Ernie's house and possessed him to make this post. Project Epsilon. Not much is known about Project Epsilon, other than if you Google what Epsilon means, it is the 5th letter in the Greek alphabet. It is also a data management company, so it could be, Ernie's working towards becoming the CEO of this company, or he's trying to overtake this company with his own company. Ernest O'Connor IV. There are 2 possible meanings to this entry. One being that when Ernie has a child of his own, or if he already has a child, that child's name will be Ernest O'Connor IV. No matter the gender, it doesn't matter if it's a girl or a boy, it will be named Ernest O'Connor IV. Another possible theory is that there's actually already an Ernest O'Connor IV that is his brother, John. John seems like a very basic name. Who would name their child John other than if they were actually named Ernest O'Connor IV and John is just a placeholder name? That's the one that I'm inclined to believe. A bit too quiet. There is little to nothing known about a bit too quiet. There are underlines to suggest that it is possibly an image that has underlines to leave spaces between the words. We're not sure what this image is. Maybe it's a username. Maybe it's all sorts of things. We can't really know until we find out, and it's too late. The jokes will become reality. The final entry in the Iceberg dictates that every joke that Ernie has said will become a future reality. If he says that the world will die tomorrow, the world will die tomorrow. Ernie is the holder of our fate. What he says goes, and we must acknowledge that. He's essentially our god. Where he goes, we follow. Thank you for joining me today through a trip through the mind of BigLBigl. Of course, the 1,000 Pigeons channel does have a sponsor, which is the BulletPeed TikTok account, at BulletPeed. Please, follow, like, comment, and share. That's all for today. Bye-bye.